Hi, beautiful Gemini. Welcome to a new era. My name is Emma. Gemini, a few things before we get into the reading. My little boy is at home again, which drives me to the point of insanity. Like, I'm not really sure what's going on, why he keeps just going back into being sick. I mean, I had my fair share of sickness, but when I did my upgrade, when I was done, I was done. You'll hear him because he is at home, but I just figured, I just need to get going with this. This is my primary work. This is my income. This is, it's not going to work for me to not work, basically. And so you'll hear him. He's in the shower right now. I'm just going to do my very best to work around this. You'll have some, you'll hear him. You'll hear the shower, and you'll hear his beautiful voice at times because he starts to sing. And he's like at a really good mood, but he still needs to be home. Having that said, this is a timeless reading because I just wanted to touch base with you from your spirit team. I've asked your spirit team, your spirit guides, what they want you to know right now. So that could be for the entire year. It can be for what is happening in your very present moment. It can be literally anywhere at any time. So when you catch this video, it doesn't really matter what time it is, what date it is, what even year it is. When you catch it, it's the perfect timing. Okay? So we're going to start with a few cards here to just get the foundation for this message from your guides, and we're going to finish it off with the angel deck to see what your angels want you to know. So Gemini, we already have the meditation card here. Well, they're flying out. And we have the representative of you here. For me, the representative of Gemini is the magician. So you're showing up in your own reading, which is very, very beautiful. It means that you're starting to get really centered. Like whatever you're doing in your life right now, things probably are starting to, it can look like at first, it's like, what are you talking about? It's not working out. It's not really getting organized, because depending on where you're at when you receive this message, this is a message with what your guides want you to know, that whether you're on the side of having had maybe even a tower moment, meaning gotten some information that is just putting everything upside down, where it's like, oh Lord, how are we supposed to sort this out? And the next, few days or even a few couple of weeks, it is sorting itself out, it's falling into place, the puzzle pieces just start to fit. It's actually getting better when it was prior to the sort of tower situation, if that makes sense. So depending on where you're at on this journey, you can be in the very tower situation, and you can be when it's sorted out. What your spirit guides want you to know that it is going to sort itself out. You don't have to panic. You don't have to get worried. You don't, it's easier said than done, right? But you don't have to worry about it. It might not be such dramatic events that you feel like it's a tower situation. You might just actually quite smoothly, depending on what I'm seeing here with the other cards, you might quite smoothly just start to feel like things are falling into place, and that's really beautiful. The magician is talking about how you are starting to figure out that you are truly the creator of your own life. No one else is creating for you. Nothing's off limits, nothing's too big, nothing's too weird, nothing's too much to ask for. It's just what you feel called to do, basically. Okay, and then we have, like I said, the Four of Michael came out first, which is my meditation card. This is when you start to really get balance within yourself. This could be that, depending on when you listen to this message, if you're just coming out in the beginning of 2023, this might be that you even have set New Year's resolution or something like that, or put down the intention that, okay, I'm going to get myself more balanced, I'm going to get myself more into shape, I'm going to get myself in a situation where it just feels like you're more healthy, overall just more healthy. It doesn't mean necessarily just dieting or exercising. This can because it's a meditation, indication. It can just be that you really are setting an intention to get more into the meditative stuff, like yoga, nature walks, sit in actual meditation, just really touch base with yourself, like really connect with your inner beings, which they will be so happy about. We have new beginnings and the Three of Ariel, and for some reason I want to tell the story around these together. Three of Ariel is like, that's old Gemini. Like there's just so many. It's interesting because today I'm seeing this as so some might actually move. This tower situation might actually be that and I just realized, you know, both my dad and one of my sisters are Geminis, and not for my dad, but for one of my sisters, she had sort of like this situation where she's now in the process of moving, where there's so many things like to clear out: the attic, the basement, the storage places, you know, and everything that has accumulated over the years. Just having a hose. When you have a hose, you can just water it down and move. When you have a house or hose, no, that's too strong. I was going to say that's house in Canadian, but it's not. When you have a house, things are just accumulated over the years. It's just a lot of stuff to deal with. And I just get this feeling here like, oh my Lord, there's so many things to look at. And it's hard to just, you know, I can't talk, to just take the stuff and put them down in boxes and move on. Because it's like, if you haven't seen certain things in like 2 or 3 or 5 years, 10 years, it's like, this thing, and you have to stop for everything. And it's like, it takes forever. But it's a creative process. And for some of you, I know this is a very specific message that some of you are actually moving and you're going through a lot of things right now. This can also be that you're just, because you have new beginnings here. It's a really beautiful new beginning that is starting for you. And that what your spirit guides wants you to know is that you will have stamina. Is that the right word? Energy. You'll have enough, whatever this is new, this new, if this is a dream, if this is a very creative dream, and you know, Gemini, we can talk about Gemini and think, is it this or is it that? It might be both. It might be 4 or 5 things that you have going, that you just jumped on board on something, and you might wonder, do you have the stamina? I don't know if that's the correct word, but it's like, do you have the longevity for this? Do you say that? Do you have it to, it's not just for 2 days. If this is a dream, if this is a really creative dream, if this is like you going back to school, if this is you starting a new chapter in some way, shape or form, however that looks, even getting into a new relationship, it's like you wonder, it is a really beautiful new beginning, but you wonder, do you have it in you to go the distance, like I said, it's not a 2-day thing. If you're really moving, oh Lord, like there's a lot of things that goes into moving. If you start to like get on the new program, like to study, or like it's not like for a weekend. I see this is like going on for several weeks or months, or maybe even up to a year for some people. Starting a new relationship, are you going to get into a relationship? Are you going to like it's just a feeling of, do I have it in me? And your guides are here to say, yes, you do. Like you so have it in you. And the thing is, the more you start to do this thing that is in accordance with your soul, it's in alignment. I keep saying, like, do you know how much it takes, how draining it is to keep a dream out? Do you know how draining it is to just continue every single day to have an actual dream, or have an actual vision, or being pulled somewhere or called somewhere and not going? That resistance is so fatiguing, it's unbelievable. So if you, from that standpoint, think about moving or getting into a new education thing, workshop even, relationship, you might, like, from that place of being tired or being like, I don't have the energy, That's coming from the place where you're not doing what you want to do. Once you get into the creative stuff, once you follow what the calling is, it's never ever, I'm not saying you're not never ever going to get tired again, but it's like so much, when you truly do something that is just so in alignment with your dream, the energy keeps getting added to you. It's not something you get tired from. You rather get energized. So it's like, just go, Gemini, you can do this. Okay? A new beginning here. There's something about it going in, for some of you, this is starting over something fresh, something new together. And whether that is starting in business together with really beautiful like friends or coworkers, if this is you as a family, like you're making this, I'm thinking about one of my other like 20 sisters. I have two sisters. And I'm thinking of my other sister who, as a family, you know, 4 children, herself and her partner, they were moving to Spain a couple of years ago. And I would say it's a similar feel that we're starting, like we're still together, like we're this group and we're still together. We're just going on a new adventure here. And it's like thumbs up from your guides, from your team, is like, we're there. Your team are overlooking this. Like there's a spirit guide bigger than the universe itself, overlooking everything, being with you on this path, sorting things out for you, like really trusting in the process here. If you're feeling called, just go. Then let's see what the angels want to add to this situation. What do you want to say to Gemini, please? Happy New Year, everyone. Did I say that? Happy continuance. Depending on when you listen to this, ask for help from others. Isn't that your favorite thing to do? Sorry. Ask for help from others. It's just, you know, it's not in your nature, Gemini. Let's keep it real here. It's not in your it doesn't come really easy to you to ask for help. And, you know, you don't have to be a Gemini for that to be the thing. I'm a Leo, a strong Leo, and I have trouble asking for help as well. So I think, you know, overall, maybe a lot of people have trouble asking for help, but Gemini is this sort of a typical sign saying that they have trouble asking for help. So, you know, if you don't feel like you can ask, and this is directly linked to this new adventure, to this new beginning, to coming into this creative process, to be the magician and understanding like how much creative power you have in your own life. If this is not like something you want to ask another person, you can just turn to your spirit guides, like your angels. They're right there and they want to help. And if you just ask what they can do for you, if you ask for guidance, if you ask for solutions, whatever it is, just ask for it. Okay? They're there to help. They really are. What else for Gemini? It can be anything and everything. It doesn't have to be linked to what we already said. Look for a sign and forgiveness. Interesting. You know, usually I just clarify the first cards that came out, the new beginning, the creative process there, the for Michael meditation, and also the magician. Usually I go in to clarify those cards. It just felt like it was really, really clear, which allowed for me to just take extra cards from the angel deck, which I usually don't do. But what came out here seems to be the most important thing. To me, that's saying, and that's also typical Gemini, you're not doing it the typical way. Does that make sense? It's not like whatever you're doing, whatever this new thing you want to jump on board on with for, is not your typical I don't know why that's important, but it's like you're not doing it the typical way. This is not the mainstream thing here. And I think maybe that's why it feels a little bit like not a gazillion people have done what you're doing before. And so you're not going about it in a traditional way, if that makes sense. And so sometimes it might feel like it's a bigger hurdle than it is because not many other people have done this, and or the way that you do it. Don't be bogged down by that, or don't be beaten down by that, because it's the Gemini way, and it's just as awesome. And just because you're thinking in new ways or thinking outside the box doesn't mean that it's not doable. That's really important for you to understand. And so the first thing that I get here is look for a sign. And it should be, you know, just as dramatic as it looks. We have like it's almost like a lightning strikes through the body of Gemini. It's like coming through the body. And so it shouldn't be, when you ask for help or you ask for guidance, it shouldn't be like, is that what it means? Is this what, like, I wonder if this is, no. If there's anything like, I don't know if this is the way or this is the path, or if not, like, that's not a clear answer. That's not a clear sign or a clear guidance. When guidance is clear, you have no question. When the calling is clear, you don't wonder whether this is right or wrong. It just feels good. It feels right. You know, it might not yell at you. It might not slap you in the face. You might have to listen for a little bit, which is, again, why it's important to get into stillness, come into balance, sit in meditation, go out on nature walks. All of that is really important for you to hear the answers. And becoming the magician and really understanding your true powers, your true creative powers, it asks of you even more so to really follow the intuition, follow the guidance from within. So when it says look for a sign, it's about feeling your way there. If it feels right, however small the whisper is or however large the whisper is, if it feels right, you're on the right path. Okay? Together with forgiveness. And it's interesting because there's something about this forgiveness card here today that it might not even feel like it has to do with forgiveness as a thing. What I'm receiving with the energy here is like, it's like, it might be that you feel like it's almost like a little bit selfish to do what you're starting to do now, or is it a little bit like, if you've been following everybody else's dreams or everybody else's, maybe you need to sacrifice, or I don't know if you even can call it sacrifice, if it's like due to something for your kids. I mean, I guess I'm sacrificing certain things right now because I sort of have to put my son first. But in my eyes, that's not really sacrifice. It's just a choice. It's the easiest choice in the world that he comes first. But yeah, when I think about it, that's not everybody's choice, and it's not so easy for everybody. But my point is, there's something that, okay, so you have put other people before you, before this shift, before this change, before wanting to jump on this dream, before coming the magician here. You probably couldn't even be the magician or have access to your own creative powers, because if you have and still then don't sort of go after what you want because you put everyone else first, that's a crappy place to be. So you probably have held your powers away from you for a bit. You probably have felt some sort of calling, but like, I'm not interested right now because I know. Do you know where I'm headed with this? It's like if you were to win, if you always had an excuse that you can't do certain things because you don't have money to do it, or you can't, for whatever reason, get into a really loving relationship because of whatever reason. And then all of a sudden that get fixed. And it's not all of a sudden that get fixed. You allow it in. So from one day to another, let's just say, the money is not an issue anymore. So now that the money is not an issue, it's like, do I then move forward with this thing that I want to do? Or is it like, oh crap, now it's like an open pathway to what I want to do. sometimes for whatever weird reason that we're humans are doing this, it's like we're keeping it out so that we can't go into success. You're keeping the money away so that you can't do what your dream is. And then you can say, I don't have the money to do it. And that's the reason. There's something about forgiveness, like forgiving yourself. There's really nothing to forgive yourself for. But the more that you can practice, this is about allowing yourself to go after what you want and not feel guilty or feel some sort of guilt that now other people are left behind, or what if they don't come along on this train, or should I really do this? Like, it will really take a lot of time away from my children. I don't know, there's a vibe here of like, can I do this? Is this selfish? No, it's not. Your guides are here to say this is not you being selfish. This is not you being selfish. This is you. This is you really focusing on yourself for maybe the first time. It might look like Gemini have always focused on themselves, like because you have so many things going at the same time. If you ask a Gemini, like, what did you do yesterday? The Gemini could say, I didn't really do anything. And then when you really get into it, it's like, unless you mean that I planted this bush in the garden and I went to train with this person and I also did some laundry, and then that's just stuff that you will do anyway. So you don't sort of think of it as I did a lot of things. So this is on top. So when you look at a Gemini, it might look like they do things that they want to do, but it's just such a norm to them. It's such regular like stuff that they would do anyway, and it's not really a feeling of that they're doing it for themselves. This is something that they would do so that it really brings about certain things for others. Of course, it's for themselves as a little bit as well, but this is you coming into really following what works for you, what your dream is, what your passion is, and you're not selfish, you're not egotistical, and you're not to feel guilty that you're sort of trampling all over other people. You're not. Okay? Follow the intuition, look for signs, look for synchronicities on your path moving forward. Ask for help from others. If it's really tough to ask physical people, ask your spirit team. They're there for you. You're starting to become the magician. You really start to get the handle of this true power within. We're coming into new beginnings here, and it's a really beautiful creative process. It's like something really awesome that you want to do, and your spirit guides are there every step of the way. Get yourself in a place where you can hear the guidance. That's what I have for you, beautiful Gemini. I want to say I'm catching up on a lot of personal readings that I was supposed to do before Christmas, but both me and my son was sick, and so I'm doing that now, trying to catch up as much as I can. And now I have my boy at home. Like, I'm gonna go insane. I'm not. It's gonna be fine. I just want to say, still, even if it feels like, oh my God, she has so much on her plate, because it sounds like I'm so dramatic. Still, if you feel like you want a personal reading, please reach out, send me a message. It's all in the description. Thank you so much, guys.